Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode will summarize what we read and discuss our experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 41.
Chapter 41!
Chapter 41 of Alds and Milp. 5.5 years ago, a shrieking Laurel is dragged out of Lyran's operating room. Lyran works diligently on Rashon's son, Relir, while Rashon sits in a corner, injured as well. Kaladin runs in and Lyran starts ordering him to work. Even Hesina is put to work. Lyran pulls a white spine tusk from Relir. The wounds are horrific. After removing the tusk, he switches to tending Rashon, who demands to know what Lyran is doing. Lyran explains that Relir is already dead. Rashon insists that he is not dead. He's still moving. Rashon demands Lyran continue working on Relir. I work under 3 guidelines, Rashon. The guidelines every surgeon uses when choosing between 2 patients. If the wounds are equal, treat the youngest first. If the wounds are not equally threatening, treat the worst wound first. The 3rd guideline supersedes them both, Rashon. A surgeon must know when someone is beyond their ability to help. I'm sorry, Rashon. I would save him if I could, I promise you, but I cannot. Kaladin drugs Rashon, then, as a mercy, Lyran tells Kaladin to drug Relir as well. Lyran tells Kaladin that the 2 had been out hunting the White Spine. That evening, Kaladin contemplates the sun setting and the brightness of blood and eyes. Kaladin speaks with his father. He thinks Lyran would have let them die. Lyran insists he wouldn't do that. He's not a killer. Somebody has to start. Somebody has to step forward and do what is right, because it is right. If nobody starts, then others cannot follow. The Light Eyes do their best to kill themselves, and to kill us. The others still haven't brought back Alds and Milp. Rashon just left them there. The Light Eyes don't care about life, so I must. Kaladin believes Alds and Milp are likely dead by now. He wonders if he'd have let Rashon and Relir die. He wouldn't have cut an artery, but he was not under any obligation to help. That's not the same as killing. It just wasn't. He honestly believes he'd have let them die. Lyran doesn't think Kaladin could kill, but Kaladin knows he could, if needed to. Some people just need to be removed. Another flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my big key takeaways from this was, I'm guessing an eye for an eye explains it all.
Ooh. I also thought about that, and I just want you to be wrong. But either way, I think Tien's gonna die, so it makes sense that might be the reason.
Yeah,
So I think you're right, is what I'm saying.
thank you. I think there will be like a bit more drama. I don't think it'll necessarily be as clean as you killed my son, so I'm killing yours. Because I can't imagine he would have the authority to do that.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be looking for excuses because they were already on bad terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is not. He's not going to see this the way that Lyran wants him to. It's
Yeah.
absolutely going to be, you killed my son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had cause to re-listen to the prelude or the
Mm-hmm.
prologue, the one with the heralds, on
Mm-hmm.
audiobook this week, and I noticed something. You and I have floated the idea of the heralds are being reincarnated,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like a cyclical thing
Mm-hmm.
or something to that effect. Kaladin, obviously there's the Kal, but
Mm-hmm.
what I really wanted to hone in on here was, I think Kalak said something to the effect of, it's an easy enough lie, when they're talking about telling the Radiants and the people that they won.
Mm.
And that's reflected in Kaladin basically trying to teach Syl that sometimes it's okay to lie. So there's a parallel there.
Ooh, that's a juicy parallel. That's not just a coincidence. Come on.
Yeah. So that is something I noticed. And I asked myself this week whether or not Kaladin is going to become a villain.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically why I wrote this note, other than that it was connected to this theory.
Probably because of the last line there. It's also quite brutal. Some people need to be erased. So it's like,
I think, yeah,
yeah. There is a dark, I was going to say dark Calcia. There is a dark Kaladin there. I think,
yeah,
I don't know if we're going to have a gray. I feel like we're going to have a gray Kaladin because I don't think he would go all the way to villain. We're going to care about him no matter what. I don't, what
yeah.
do you,
Well, again, with the
gonna,
Jesus comparison, there was the compassionate Jesus, and then there was the flip tables over Jesus,
yeah,
as I understand it. So,
yes. And there is there is the love your neighbor God, and then there's the other one that just smite them with frogs God. So,
yeah,
it's never really one thing.
yeah. So, I'm nervous for Kaladin's pathway forward. I would
Mm,
also say that this chapter, I really noticed this week that we are in a very different phase of the book. And I noticed that Dalinar, well, I'm jumping the gun here. Kaladin made a choice and then changed his mind regarding doctors and stuff. Shalon made her choice and then changed her mind.
oh shit.
And where last we left Dalinar, he had made a choice.
Mm,
So I'm wondering if we'll get Dalinar having changed his mind next time we visit him, or something to
it's
that effect.
it's something that the you seeing that pattern is important. Like whether or not he does it, it's still something that rhymes in the book, if you know what I'm saying. Like we have to look
Yes.
at whether he changes his mind or not. That is a thing. That is a
Yeah.
pattern you've identified. So I think, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, and Sanderson is really good in this book in particular
Mm,
in creating parallels between
mm,
all the storylines with regard to things like Shalon and young Kaladin
mm.
realizing the world isn't as gray anymore.
Yeah,
And there are other examples that I just don't have
it's neat.
off. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely feels like we are no longer in the beginning of the book. It feels like we are in
We
the
forgot.
world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but with this book, maybe it's because I'm reading it on Kindle, so I don't have the physical feeling of where I'm at in the book. I mean, obviously gives you percentages and things like that, but I'm just okay with the pace of the whole book because I know it's so long. I know that the story is so long, the series is so long. It doesn't really feel like I'm looking for a climax of this book and so that it stands alone or anything. I'm just ready for this journey to be a very long one. So I'm not really caring about pacing and things like that as much as I think I would with, well, I mean, it's how I felt with Mistborn and everything. I feel like I've maybe it is just this meta knowledge of, okay, I know this is the big boy, so I am not really thinking about these books separately.
Mm,
I'm not really caring about the pacing of the book
sure,
itself. Mm.
sure. That said, I don't feel, as far as the pacing goes, I definitely see Sanderson's stylistic preferences. I can only assume there'll be one hell of a Sanderlanche toward the end of the book, but I can definitely see that things are being set up and things are
Mm.
moving, so
Yeah,
to
I can
speak, if that
appreciate
makes
that. I
sense.
mean, yeah, as someone who appreciated the whole of the Wheel of Time, because a lot of people got really upset or a bit frustrated with how the length of it. I think I'm primed for a long story, so I don't mind if he's taking his time laying stuff out. I know that it will be paid off later.
Yeah. it's like it's clearly building to stuff. It's taking its nice time, and it's not one of the things in Well of Ascension and in Mistborn is like something will happen and we'll want to know what happens right after. And I'm
Mhm.
getting that less in this book. In this
Yes, yeah,
book,
that's
we
what
are
I'm
getting,
thinking. Yeah. It's just that in this book, we're just like, "Oh, I wonder what will happen next." That's
and
about
then
it.
we get it. Usually
Yeah.
not in the chapter right after because of POV stuff, but we do tend
Yeah.
to get the right
Mhm.
afters.
Mhm.
Another thing I asked myself this week was, does a soulcaster have a key?
Hmm. I mean, like, wouldn't would do we know that? Wouldn't we know whether it does? Wouldn't Shalon have known?
Not if it's a secret.
Mm. Why would that guy keep it a secret from her? Or because he could use it, right?
Yeah, their servant person, butler
Mhm.
person. I mean, I presumed he was a part of that organization and that they
Mm.
had their own agenda.
So he might have not told them, yeah?
Yeah, but that was my presumption. But yeah, I think there might be like an on key or
There
something.
there's there is a mystery that will solve the brokenness
Yeah.
quickly. Okay.
I don't know, but we'll see. Now on to this chapter. We covered the eye for an eye presumption.
Mhm.
Laurel is screaming her head off at the terrible tragedy that happened. They went out hunting Relir and Rashon and Alds and Milp, who I'm presuming are Dark Eyes,
Mhm.
and those two were left.
And that's the name of the chapter.
Yeah,
But we are obviously very much focusing on Rashon and his son, but that's the name of the chapter. And it's like, what are we
don't
supposed to do with
forget,
yeah.
don't forget them. Don't forget Alds and
Mhm.
Milp.
Mhm. 'Cause that's what Rashon did. Um,
Yeah, we get Lirin essentially making a tough decision, one that he probably has to do. If he says he doesn't have the expertise to save Relir, I believe him. I wonder what would have happened if he let Cal give it a shot, but that would almost seem more cruel to
mhm.
Relir, I imagine. Because I
Yeah.
do imagine it to be a fatal wound.
Yeah, it is gruesome. Do you remember the description? His eye is like deflated and whatever. Okay, that's not the fatal part, but the point is, he's crushed. He's eviscerated. Okay,
Yeah,
he is not doing well, and he's like spluttering basically and convulsing. He is not okay. So I'm also in agreement that Liren has done the right thing. Calcia. Kaladin didn't he wasn't aware yet. His father made the determination. So he didn't go, "Oh, we there's
hmm,
more hope," or whatever. He agrees with his father once the determination is made.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for, whatever moral character problems Rashon and Relir have, as always, I love father-son stories, and it really does tug at me to
Mhm.
see Rashon growl, "My son is not dead. I can see
Yeah.
him moving." That's visceral stuff for me, and I can't help but feel for him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt that as well. It's like yeah, we know he's an asshole, but geez. And also he is such an asshole, but he still loves his son. That's so
Hmm.
endearing. It's not like he's like, "Hey, make sure that you take care of me," kind of thing.
Yeah. And then Lirin shifts his attention to Rashon, and they give him some. Gosh, what's the liquid called? You put it to your mouth and you pass out. You see
It's
it
like
in
chloroform.
movies. Chloroform, that's it. Yeah.
Mm.
So they give them something like chloroform to get them both out. For Relir, it's a mercy,
Mhm.
which, yeah, probably is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mercy, but we only get he actually only gives it to him. He only gives that chloroform thingy to the son after he's given it to the father.
Right, because obviously Rashon's gonna, if he thinks that they're just abandoning his son, Rashon's
Mm.
gonna be too difficult to
Mhm.
help.
To handle, yeah. He stops moving, yeah. Ooh. The whole reason that this has happened is they were hunting. And one of the comments that stuck out to me is the way that Lyran's like they even in a provincial town they have to go and look for glory and stuff. They could just live their lives this way normally, but no, they had to go looking for trouble. And
Hmm.
that's why they've had this attack, because you're not supposed to hunt them. So he's really irritated that they've put themselves in this situation. Obviously he's helping them though. The main thing that we witness is Liren not cutting the femoral artery that was right there. Speak of visceral. Thinking of that, I was like, I was getting squirmish. Like I'm okay with blood, but I don't know. Somehow sinew and vascularity just it scares me. I don't like the idea of having arteries. I don't want to know about them. I don't want to know about a spinal cord or an artery. So this it's pumping there, and Liren could just cut it and decide that you know what, eh, hey, no, everyone will believe him that you know these guys just died, problem solved. But it's a moral conundrum.
Yep. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Go hunt that lion. Go hunt that tiger. Now, I will say, I don't want lions or bears hanging around my neighborhood. Like
Mhm.
we're fortunate in today's day and age that we can tranquilize them and put them back in the wild or something to that effect. I don't live in an area with bears, so I don't know if that's what is done.
What
I
we
would
do,
prefer
yeah.
that to killing them. But it's possible, or I wondered about the possibility that maybe the thing needed to be hunted for the protection of the town. I lean against that presupposition, but it's we also know that Liren is very adamant and stalwart in his pacifist beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there would have been more of an maybe there would be a more established, like, oh, there's been some attacks and whatever, so they thought they were going to go in.
Yeah.
And I think Liren would have the same opinion, even if that was happening. Be like, no, they go out for a hunt and whatever.
Yeah. Again, I don't think that's the case. I just kind of presume based off of what we got that they were hunting for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
So then later that night, Kaladin is reflecting on whether or not his dad could have let them die. And at first he thinks so. But before we even get to that, I want to go through why was the most colorful part of people's bodies, the brightness of their blood hidden beneath the skin, never to be seen unless something went wrong? No, Kaladin thought, the blood isn't the most colorful part of a body. The eyes can be colorful too. The blood and the eyes, both representations of one's heritage and one's nobility. So again, we've got this idea of brightness. They call, their
Mm.
leaders brightness Yasna, and he's reflecting on brightness. And there's something about blood and eyes, and I don't think I have the literary smarts to define what it is, but it's important, I think. Noted.
Being being the soul or the substance of a person,
The
the thing
substance of
passed
a
down.
person, yeah. The window, eyes are the window to the soul. Blood is the substance. Brightness, moral character, moral integrity. Kaladin is obviously a person who will shine very bright.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff going on there.
Regardless of his eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are talking about how bright everything is, right? So he's like, "Oh, eyes are brighter." But it's like, but blood is the same underneath this. That's the thing. Like, I was like, what made me think, I was like, do dark eyes and light eyes have different color blood? No, they don't. So think about that. It's kind of a we all bleed red thing
Hmm.
that is lamented in this thought. It's like, oh no, or could be lamented. Let's say if you want to interpret it this way. that, oh, the thing that is really important is the brightness in someone's eyes, but actually everyone has this blood that's bright, and
Yeah.
that's regardless of our color.
Yeah. Kaladin asserts that Lirin would have been able to kill them, and Lirin, again, we're talking about some fairly well-trod philosophical discussions and topics that you might learn about in a philosophy class. Lirin asserts that letting them die would be the same as killing them. And it's a powerful scene between the two.
Well, you know what? Just as you said that word, letting them die would be the same as killing them. Giving up on the bridgeman would be the same as killing them. If we're
Oh
thinking about
yeah. Oh, good catch.
no, it was just the way that you said that that it just hit me because I was like, okay, so let's try and apply it to what Kaladin is doing now, and he's supposed to be a healer, and yes, we had that what's it, the blue and red chapter where it's like they know they're going to die, but they still choose the next best thing. So if Kaladin is this like this cage that's hanging everybody, that there's this chance that they have. If he was just to let everybody just jump, throw them into the sea, that is the same thing as killing them. So if he gives
Mm-hmm.
up on them, if he just lets them become those walking corpses, that is the same as killing them. If but the thing is, Kaladin is not Lirin. Kaladin does feel like some people should be erased. So I don't know how that maps on.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's more or less how the chapter ends,
Mhm.
which is to say, Lirin hopes that Alds and Milp will make it back, and Kaladin thinks they won't. And
Mhm.
then Kaladin comes to this realization no, it's just different. And he doesn't have a great way to articulate why it's just different, but he thinks
Mhm.
it's different. Letting them die is not the same as killing them, and that there are some people who should.
Yeah, I think that's a very clear distinction between him and his father, where he
Mm-hmm.
definitely seems capable of killing. It seems like his father, if you believe exactly what he said, no, I literally could not. I couldn't. So he's like, oh, it was just because I was there. He's like, no, I would not. I'm not able to.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe from Cal's point of view, it's like, oh, he was contemplating killing the guy, and because Kaladin was there, he didn't. It's like actually no, he was because Kaladin's there, he's contemplating killing the guy, and but was not able to because his moral standing, his moral fiber is just too much. He can't do it. So it was the other way around. And yeah, Kaladin is not like his dad in this position. So Kaladin probably, presumably, will not come to the conclusion that if I let the bridgemen die, it's the same as killing them. He's more on the I need to exterminate some people path.
Yeah, definitely, especially Sadius right now.
Why not? Like, why not go completely rogue? And like, well, I'm gonna die anyway. Let's go.
Yep. Anything else to say about this chapter?
Very visceral chapter. That's it.
Very.
Hmm.
Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kita if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks,
Go
bye.
back.